welcome to TriMet 101. This is not very TriMet related, but I just thought I would talk about this. I've noticed a few things about battery electric buses, and cars, and any electric vehicle. Well, they all behave differently. I know this doesn't really seem like much of a surprise. Different companies make different products that behave differently. But this video is going to be some of my observations on these electric buses. Firstly, though, I want to talk about trains. Siemens Mobility is one of the largest train manufacturers in the world, and our Type 2 Max cars on, the 2s all the way through the 6s, and probably for the future, have been made by Siemens Mobility. Now, our Type 2s and 3s, which are nearly identical from the outside, sound unlike any other train I've ever been able to find. Portland is the only city where you'll hear this. Now, many cities, including Portland, have the S70 or S700 model, which are our Type 4s, 5s, 6s, and those sound like this, usually. Unfortunately, I don't have the answers as to how that propulsion sound is able to be created. I'm not sure what exactly is going on to make that whistly ringing noise, but it's something that lots of manufacturers have been able to master for several decades now, literally since the mid to late 90s, on trains. They just make that noise. And Siemens Mobility is far from the only company out there making trains that do this. In fact, it's really hard to find any train company that isn't doing this. Here are the Kinkachario trains in Seattle that they use for their Link Light Rail, the older trains now. They have Siemens Mobility as well. Notice, different brand, they sound different, but it still makes that ringing noise. Okay, so now let's talk about battery electric buses. I think at this time we haven't 100% mastered bus propulsion yet, or electric bus propulsion. They behave fine, but they don't really sound like anything too special. They just sound like an electric vehicle. Except for the New Flyer electrics. Those things are practically musical. If you haven't been able to ride one, or you don't know what they sound like, feast your ears on this. If you didn't already know this, these buses scored as the quietest battery electric buses ever on some study from a few years ago. Something weird about electric buses or electric vehicles in general is a very distinctive ringing noise as you're accelerating from a stop or about to stop. I think that's pretty much unavoidable thanks to how the motor is constructed and just thanks to electric motors in general. But it's kind of weird. Now, when it comes to propulsion sound, again, I think New Flyers are my favorite for any electric vehicle I've ever heard. So now let's talk about some of my least favorite. The Proterra electric buses. Now, I think they tried to somehow create a futuristic sounding bus or something, but in my honest opinion, I don't like them. For an electric bus, they are unacceptably loud. Now, Portland doesn't have any, yet. There's a whole story on that. I talked about it in the last video. So I'll just have to show you a clip from a YouTube video. To be fair, Proterra was one of the early manufacturers of battery electric buses. They were one of the first ones to really push it onto other cities to say, you guys should try battery electric. We make them. So I'll cut them a bit of slack. They were fairly early onto this whole journey of battery electric buses. Now if there's one company that TriMet likes to buy buses from, it's Gillig. And well, we have 5 of their electric buses. It's interesting, they sound kinda creepy at low speeds, but they have a weird, oddly soothing, relaxing hum at higher speeds. Here's a clip of that.
West Burnside and Southwest Barnes.
For whatever reason, these things can get up to speed quick, especially if you ride number 4302, which I have a clip of. I have no idea when this video is going to go live, but I've filmed him on the 54. Here's a short snippet of that video. Watch how fast we can accelerate from a stop. If you can see through the rainy window, because it was pouring down rain. Okay, so this nicely leads me into the next thing, which is something I've noticed and am predicting. Again, here's how the Gillig Electrics hum. Doesn't that sound a bit familiar? Here's one of the 4000 series buses, a newer Gillig bus, that I filmed recently. Did you catch that? The same humming noise. Okay, so now let's talk about 3048 through 3050. These buses were once diesel buses that have been converted to battery electric. And they were sent to California for this. 3042 through 46 were also sent down there, but got their diesel motors replaced with new ones. You might see where I'm going with this. If they have any sort of similar sounding products in 3042 through 46, we might be able to predict what 3048 through 3050 might sound like. Soon I'll be uploading a video of number 3044, if I haven't already put it up, on the line 76, and I noticed something in this video. You can hear that same hum. Take a listen.
Southwest Andy.
Well, this is entirely a guess, but I would think 3048 through 3050 will probably sound very similar to the Gillig Electrics, the 4300s, just with this. Now let's talk about something that's probably a bit further into the future, a bit far off, and would definitely take quite a bit of experimenting. What if you wanted to create or recreate a certain sound? What if you, say, wanted to recreate the D40 LFs from New Flyer, but electric version, but they still sound just like the old D40 LFs? I wonder if that even is possible. And if you're somehow not familiar with what a D40 LF sounds like, you've missed out on riding some very iconic sounding buses, but here's a clip of one. Now these were fairly loud from outside the bus, but a sort of odd, relaxing environment inside the bus. I wonder if we could recreate a sound like that. I don't know what that would require. It would probably be a whole bunch of gears and somehow opening or closing some sort of choke for a certain sound. It's a very specific sound. I think it would be hard to do, but I don't think it would be impossible. You could call it the New Flyer Old Style Bus or something. I don't know, these are just free ideas coming at you. And you could maybe have it as just some special buses so that a transit agency could just purchase a few of them. This wouldn't really be meant for a full shipment of, say, 70 buses or something. Yeah, this kind of thing has been on my mind for the last few weeks, and I was just kind of going over it, and I'm like, I wonder what you guys think of this. Well, there you go. That is my recent thoughts on battery electric buses. How many times have I said battery electric bus in this video? I thank you for watching, and I will see you Friday with some other video.